All right, guys. Apparently we're live already, which is a little bit quicker than I was used to today. I will wait until I hear someone chime in the chat. In the meantime, I'm going to fix up a couple of things on this side of the channel. Stick it in the appropriate playlist, all that kind of stuff, while I'm waiting to hear from somebody in the chat. And maybe you're there already, but I'm too busy over on the chat. There we go. And of course, that also means turning monetization on once this thing is saved. So welcome back to this week. If anybody wants to jump in on the show, I'm going to back out to the Zoom link so I can actually see the link, where I posted it on the Facebook page already. Sorry, guys, we're a bit of a mess right now. And let's talk about the table giveaway. And when I say the table giveaway, of course, I mean the one that is going out to all the membership. Once we get to 100 members, we are doing a draw for an arm wrestling table. Now, what that means is you have an opportunity to get a free Ezra Arm Wrestling Club table. Could be worth more than $1,000 because we're going to pay the shipping and we're going to send it anywhere in the world. And I'm hoping that we see some acceleration. We're up to 15 right now. 15 entries for that arm wrestling table. And once we get to 100, we will do the draw and we'll send it out. We have those membership options are the YouTube channel and they are the Patreon channel. Now, I'm sorry about the time change, you guys, which is probably why I haven't seen many people jump on here yet, because Monday is also the busiest day of my week. I'm going to switch it all up and we are going to go to a Tuesday show. And then we're followed, of course, by the Total Arm Wrestling show on Thursday. More on that in a second. And then our training videos are going to move to Saturdays. So this was typically the Training Tuesday, which is a pre-recorded show. This one coming up on Saturday is going to be it's going to be focusing on the arm PR lift, which is the single arm strict dumbbell curl. So Spencer and I both did this in the gym the other day. That video is going to come up on Saturday. So check that out. As much as I think that kind of max lift has not a ton of application towards arm wrestling, because a lot of arm wrestlers don't train the bottom part of their movement. It's fun to do. It's fun to put it out there. And I think they're actually, there's a prize that is sponsored by Pound for Pound, if I'm not mistaken. So check that out. As usual, there is the membership exclusive, which is, good morning, Dustin. Good morning, Jody Williams. The membership exclusive Back to Jack, which chronicles some behind the scenes exclusive training footage. It also follows my some other journeys, but if you guys want to see that, you got to be a member because it gets posted exclusively to Patreon and to the YouTube membership. That's a once a week exclusive video. This Thursday, we are going to oh, Finn, that's a good question. I'm going to get into that. This Thursday, we are actually having Bryan Koerner and Ron Bath join the show, and we're going to talk about the NatFit Midwest Open, which has some exciting super matches. We got, I think, Ron taking on that bum, Jonathan Brita, left-handed, so easy match for Ron there, probably. So, Jody, woke up in time this morning. Good for you, Jody. I can't believe you woke up on time. What time is it where you are? And anyone wants to jump on the show, click the link. I'll let you in right now. Finn Mason, building my own table. It says, what's with the wild fake audiences? That started back when they used to have the open tournaments in Vegas, and they brought in a ton of extras to keep the crowd going, keep the enthusiasm going. And yeah, they're basically hired to go crazy in the crowd. And I don't know how much of that is actually happening on the super match cards they're doing now. I don't think that it's happening a lot anymore because the venues are much smaller, and typically the arm wrestlers that are on the card fill it up with their guests and a few fans that attend. Finn says, also, you ignored me last week, so I'll ask it again. Finn, I didn't mean to ignore you, but if you want your comment noticed, and there's a lot of people in the chat, the only way to guarantee that I don't miss it is to super chat it. But you say, who the F is the real Iron Man? Dan Mosier versus Tony Katowski. They're not even close to the same weight class. So I'm going to say that Mosier probably takes that match. Tony is incredibly good. But I think Dan takes it. He's on a bit of a hot streak right now. What else do we have to talk about? The Alpha members, Ready Go Solutions, Jeff Frank, Bruce Williz, Bryan Koerner, Jon Umpherville, Gary Roberts, Joe Fox, and Mike Dumas. Thank you for your support. You guys, and among others, are entered for the arm wrestling table, and you can get in for as low as $2 a month, $1.99 a month, Canadian. That's what the YouTube membership costs at the lowest level. We got the Teespring store going. And then we have, and all of these you can find in the comments section. Finn, I don't understand your question. Who's the real Iron Man? What does that mean? Who does the nickname belong to? Jody Williams, Ryan, if WoW is not a go, then what's your plans in 2021? Well, Jody, it depends on what I'm allowed to do. And when I say that, I mean, I'm ready to arm wrestle right now, but it depends on restrictions. So I'd like to take a TAL super match. I might be able to do one in Canada. Jeff's got some stuff coming up. I'd like to get down to the States. And yeah, who knows? Maybe Zloty, but I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? If I go anywhere right now at this time, while we are in Code Red, which is, it is what it is. We're not supposed to leave the province. And if we do, we come back, we're supposed to quarantine for 2 weeks. That's the problem. My job does not allow me to quarantine for 2 weeks. And if I did, it would have to be extremely worth my while because I'm going to be giving away money for the next 2 weeks so someone else can do work for me. And I don't think I can do that. I've given a lot to arm wrestling over the years. And if you were to take the expense column with the revenue column, the expense column is still way ahead, but I don't need it to affect my personal income any more than it has already over 20 plus years. So that the plan, there is no plan. I'll take it as they come. I might start some underground matches here in my hometown. We'll see. Who is my next guest? The next guest is Bryan Koerner and Ron Bath. So that's this Thursday. You never know what Jeff's going to do either. Last week he took his shirt off and was drinking heavily. Oh, and by the way, this show is brought to you by Western Survivor, the greatest beef jerky on earth, a good Canadian company, and a big supporter of arm wrestling all over the place, and a big supporter of arm wrestling podcasts. So they are also looking after, for sure, Beauty and the Beast. So Gary Roberts and Travis Bagent. So that's my next guest. What is your favorite prehab/rehab exercises for beginners? I don't have one. If we're talking about rehab, then that would be for a specific injury. Probably it's not an exercise. If we're talking about recovering from from an injury, probably contrast baths would be the best thing, because assuming that you're doing rehab on tendons. Finn Mason says underground topless match. Sure, Finn. Yeah, we'll do that. I like it. I don't like it. Well, depends. Maybe Jeff will specify that in his next event, if that's what he wants to do. All right, Jody Williams with the U.S. With us in the U.S. because of COVID dictating things. We just pull different clubs within our state and have county wars. This is something we're doing here in Oregon just to keep things fresh. I would love to be able to do that as well, and within the province. And there is some rumblings of that happening. So maybe, and I'll definitely record it for YouTube content. RVJ versus Ryan Bowen. Who you got? Man, okay, here's the deal. You got to go with RVJ. Tried, tested RVJ. You cannot. I really like what Ryan Bowen is doing. I like how he's progressing. But Ryan Bowen also has a history of biting off big chunks. And sometimes he does not have the ability to chew them. So it's lofty goals are one thing, $50,000 super matches with blood tests to make sure neither one of them are doping. That's ridiculous. If those two guys are going to come in truly natural, and RVJ is as he claims, RVJ all day long. There's just too much. Just too much. We have, Joe Fox. Maybe Jeff can get White Claw as a sponsor. He was actually using mudslides, I think, drinking mudslides. But then when I asked him, he said he didn't know. He didn't know what he was drinking. So, whatever. It is what it is. He was also drinking straight rum right out of the bottle. So, drinking mudslides. But then when I asked him, who do I got here? He said he didn't know. He didn't know what he was drinking. So, whatever. It is what it is. He was also drinking straight rum right out of Jody Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you doing? Who do I got here?
Oh, do I need to pause my Eric? Because is it echoing?
It is echoing. So if you pause your YouTube or just turn your YouTube volume down, we can. Let
me go pause it right quick. We good?
I think so.
All right. What's up, Benny? How you doing?
Hey, thanks for jumping on here, man. It's I'm glad you had a chance to do your hair this morning before you just got out of bed.
Yeah, I had to do my makeup and all that stuff,
Yeah. So what's new with you? What's happening down there?
Well, I made that comment because with the COVID thing kind of, controlling what we can and cannot do. And, people are kind of like, well, if I do this event, then I got to quarantine for 14 days or whatnot. And so me and a few guys around the state of Oregon decided, hey, let's get a ranking system. And, just to keep things fresh, because a lot of us that can't travel, or, hey, I don't want to miss work if I go to this out of state event, then come back and all that kind of stuff. I said, let's just do it to where, you got your teams here in different counties, and let's challenge each other. And I know for a fact that, you know, when you train with your partners or your teammates, you know, on a weekly basis, it's good. But then you also want to know, okay, well, is what we're doing working actually against somebody different? So we all decided to kind of get things together and try to make this thing work. And so to make sure we have a accurate ranking system, we'll all get together. Everybody in their respective weight classes have a round robin. That way you pull everybody in your weight class. That way there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And whoever has the best record at the end of that, that's where you play. It's from top to bottom.
I like it. Let me tell you my idea that I was thinking about doing.
Okay.
Having a single venue that is located in my hometown so that I can leave it set up, a pit style of arm wrestling like the World Arm Wrestling League.
Right.
And then run an underground kind of league out of there that people can come to. It's exclusively for putting it out on the internet, YouTube content.
Right.
There's not going to be a ton of spectators. It's going to be arm wrestlers showing up for super matches and produced like kind of an underground feel. But it's going to be almost a league that does that, but with a very limited amount of weight classes, and everyone's got to converge on the same spot.
It's kind of like Fight Club, huh?
Kind of like Fight Club.
Well, funny you bring this up because, and you've been in this sport longer than I have. This is year number 11 for me. And for so many years, we've been trying to tell the whole world that we're not that barroom sport. We're trying to make it professional as possible. And all of a sudden now with this pandemic kind of pushing us back to where we are, we kind of have to be underground now because it's like we're kind of forced to. So I'll take TAL, for example. When Jeff Frank had that in Idaho and the array of stars that was there, it proved that you don't have to have an assembly hall. You don't have to have a convention center to put on a great event with those many superstars there. I mean, that was just awesome. Oh, speaking of devil, what's up? What's up, Jeff?
How's it going, my man?
What the hell are we doing here? We got the Total Arm Wrestling show on a Tuesday morning.
Shit.
What? It's just all of a sudden I see Jeff Frank pop up in the waiting room. Okay.
I thought this was a free entry into this show.
It sure is. Anybody could jump in on this one.
Okay, let's not interrupt Jody. I'm listening.
I was just explaining to Ryan that when you've been in the sport long enough, we try to convince the whole world that we're professional and we want this, you know, to be as like I said, professional as possible. But the COVID pandemic has kind of pushed us back to where we have to be sort of underground and, you know, barroom like. And I was just telling, you know, when you did the event in Boise, Idaho, and I said, you know what Jeff did was awesome. You don't have to have a convention center per se to have an event like you had with all the superstars there. You know, we can have a bar there. Fine. Kids were invited, and the revenue for that particular bar made who knows how much money they made, you know? So it was good to see something like that.
Thoughts, Jeffrey?
Yeah, no, for sure. It was interesting to see how the owner of that place changed his attitude when he's seen what you know, everybody had some, well, he had some skepticism going into that. When I told him like this is going to be big, it's going to be going to bring a lot of money, and I could see it in his eyes where he was like, yeah, you know, whatever kind of thing, right? But I mean, when he come up to me at the end of the night and gave me 2 thumbs up, the pullers don't give a shit. They just want 4 walls around them in a stage,
Right.
And you know, the guy put out some great meals. He had some good-looking waitresses, and you know, he allowed kids to come in there, even though it was a 21 and over facility. Like it was, yeah. It's, you know, we just adapted the way we went, and everybody had fun.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, from a puller standpoint, all we need is 3 things: a referee, a strap if you need one, and some chalk. Doesn't matter where the venue is. It could be in the parking lot of a Costco. It doesn't really matter, you know. We just want somewhere to pull and a table, and we're ready to roll.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and it's the kind of creative ideas like that that are going to keep us going throughout the pandemic. And I've had enough of it, man. I've had enough of the pandemic. I want to get back to competing. I haven't put my arm on my elbow on an arm wrestling table in months now. And when I do, it's with my usual training partners. And well, I enjoy it. I mean, we got to get some testing in here.
Hey, Jeff, did you hear what we're doing here in Oregon?
No, I don't think I did, Jody.
So I was explaining to Ryan that what we're doing here in the state of Oregon, that a few of us guys got together and made a Oregon ranking system by weight class, just to keep things fresh until we know when the tournament's going to open up for a lot of these guys. And what we're doing is having a round robin. You know, you pull everybody in your respective weight classes, and whoever has the best record, that's where you're going to be ranked from top to bottom. That way, we'll probably get together like once every 4 months, just to kind of keep things going, because you really don't know. I mean, a few of us will be doing tournaments too, but just because a lot of us can't do it because of work or whatever, we decided to do that just to kind of keep the blood flowing, you know?
100%. I think that's a great idea. And just staying creative in times like this is key to keep people motivated. And that's a hell of a good idea. Kind of similar to what I'm doing this weekend with this Sunday super match idea. Just local event, have some guys come out and just to keep their elbows on the table and some blood flowing.
That's a cool event though, Jeff. I mean, I'm sure we're going to chat about it on the upcoming show, but we're probably going to chat more about the NatFit Midwest Open. So let's talk a little bit now about that. Who you got for super matches?
Well, so yeah, like I said, just basically some local guys. So headlining right now, I had Joe Fox and Ali Hamidia, right hand. So two top national guys.
Fun match. Joe is in the chat and he's talking a lot of shit about you right now, just so you know.
I love my buddy Joe, man.
Yeah, he says White Claw should sponsor the show, and he also said, he's got some other things in there too. But who do you got in that match, by the way? You gonna make a prediction?
Hell no. I'll let Jody pick.
Well, I think Hamidia, after his performance at the TAL2 in Idaho, I think that kind of bothered him.
Oh yeah, greatly.
Prior to that match, you know, he made a promo about Justin, what he was going to do, this, that, and the other, and he didn't deliver. And you know what? It's not that he's a bad arm wrestler. It's just, it wasn't his day today. And I know I've been there countless of times where I thought, matter of fact, last fall I pulled Sean Hancock, and I trained hard for that guy, and I lost 6-0, you know, and I trained hard for that guy, you know, and that same day, come tournament time, I sat there and took a first in Masters and a second in the open class, which was good just to kind of, you know, take care of the losses. But I think he has something to prove. So I really think he might dig deep, and he's been waiting to prove that, hey, guys, that wasn't the real me in Idaho. This is the real me versus Joe Fox. So we'll see. I think it's all on him. Now, if he happens to lose against Joe Fox, where does his mind go? Like, okay, where are you going to be at now? You know, a lot mind games play a lot in the sport.
Here's the fun part is I don't think there was a lot of advance warning for these matches, right, Jeff? You just kind of put them together on relatively short notice.
Well, to be honest, they reached out to me. There was a couple guys that just wanted to do something, and I said, well, okay, you know, here's a good opportunity to start this YouTube channel, get some content going, and you know, put some relatively good matches together for the TAL YouTube.
Yeah, I will never make the mistake of underestimating Joe Fox again. He did an amazing job at TAL1 against Alex, which is a match that I think that we had some, you know, we thought it might have been a lot tougher, but Joe he's got the experience and kind of the world pedigree now. So I don't know, Ali, maybe he's got something to prove too. So, I mean, I don't want to really make a pick in this one because.
Well, I'll give you a little bit of history, Ryan and Jody. So back in March of last year, Ali beat Joe right-handed at that Lethbridge event. And so, you know, I think Joe's wants to come back a little bit of redemption on that.
Okay. Joe Woodland, YouTube member, is in the chat. Hey, Joe. And who's the next match? You got Klaczynski against...
Well, yeah, Curtis Klaczynski and Jeff Miller. That one's not 100% confirmed.
Well, I hope it is, because I remember back in the day when you had that match with Curtis and all those people were pissed off at his antics. Yeah. I think Jeff Miller was one of the guys that called him out and said, I'll pull you. Joe Fox was as well. So, you know, I was looking forward to seeing that. You should make it a four-way. The two winners got to pull each other.
Well, we'll see how things go. That's certainly
Do you guys know when they're going to open the borders just by chance?
Well, I'll be honest, it's getting worse, not better.
It's getting better in Manitoba. It's getting better in Manitoba.
Well, not the borders though. The borders.
No.
Yeah. The borders are looking. I mean, now if you test positive in Canada, you are forced to go to a government facility.
Really?
100%.
Wow.
Not in Manitoba, you're not.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Manitoba is not a hub for air travel. Toronto, Calgary, Quebec, and Vancouver, I think, are the 4 international airports. If you travel internationally and you come back, you have to land in one of those 4 airports. As soon as you land, you got to provide a negative COVID test from the United States. Then you got to go to a hotel and quarantine for 3 days on your dime. It's a minimum of $2,000, which is just absolutely atrocious. And then if you test positive, you're taken away to a government facility. Look it up.
For how long?
14 days.
Well, I'm glad I got my COVID shot done.
As long as they got a good buffet, I think I'd be okay with it.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I asked you guys that is because I really want to pull Uncle John the worst way. And we've been talking about it for like a year now. And it's just the plans haven't aligned yet. So, it was going to be a TAL event. Then I got bumped back. And then Travis is having the Weirdo Camera Guy Championships next month. And John's going to be part of that. But, with him leaving the country and stuff, and he said the borders haven't been open yet. So he's got a concern. And I totally get that, and
well, he's got to think of it both ways because Joe Biden, when he got in, he implemented his own restrictions.
Yeah.
So essentially, he would have to quarantine for 10 days down there first and provide a negative COVID test.
All right.
Then he'd have to quarantine for 14 days back up here, provided, at a hotel. And so it's, you're 21 days quarantine essentially.
Wow.
It's tough.
Okay, you guys, here's the thing. We have somebody that is just named iPhone wanting in the room. Should I let him in?
Hell yeah.
Bring it. Let's go.
But yeah, Jody, I'd like to keep that match. I mean, if it happens at that weird, if Jonathan does make it down, I think that's great. You guys pull. I mean, that match will happen for the TAL. And as soon as we can get those borders open, that match is going to go down.
And I say that because, John's one of these guys that, he's been he's on this mission to lose a lot of weight and stuff. And I'm thinking, you know what? I like his motivation. And even if he can't arm wrestle at events right now, his journey is a little bit different than everybody else. And so he has his, show. He's doing the strict curls now. He did the back pressure not too long ago. And I'm just liking when he has the offer. I'm thinking that's just a good guy I want to pull just to kind of rub elbows with and just, share a beer or whatnot and just chit chat, Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. 100%. And, I look forward to making that happen. And there's a lot of cool things. I have things are getting shuffled around a little bit, obviously, with COVID and where we're going to go. But I do have a signed agreement between Alihan Muratov from Kazakhstan and Luke Kent up here in Canada. We'll do that at the same event as you and Uncle John.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Joe Fox is in the house.
How's you going, guys?
Good, you?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
how's it going? We have we were just talking about you.
Jody's got the same haircut I got.
Yeah. I love it.
So Joe,
I missed some of the conversation. I was trying to get on this Zoom.
And
well,
then,
I've been waiting for a long time here to get a match, so I've been bugging Jeff a little bit, hoping I can get something going. And Ali and me were supposed to be going this year at some point, so I've been wanting to go him for quite a while, since last year at Lethbridge there when he kicked my ass. So I'm looking for a little payback here. I'm feeling good, and I like my chances.
Now, the event, is it going to be under a tent by any chance, Jeff?
we're in Alberta, bud.
I was just going to say, make sure the building is standing and everything is in place.
This
So
is
that we don't
engineered.
We don't have to worry about the referee's memory,
Yeah.
any of that stuff.
Indoors, engineered facility, no tent. It's minus fucking 40 here, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Joe, what hand are you guys pulling?
We're pulling right hand. Yeah.
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
Looking
My
forward to that.
left's not up to par, so I'm gonna pull right-handed and yeah, like I say, I'm feeling super good right now. So it could be a good day. Could be a bad day for Ali Hamadea.
And are both of you guys around the 198 class?
Yeah, I've actually gained a bunch of weight over COVID here. So I'm actually sitting about 214 right now. So, I mean, I could make 198, but I don't plan on really doing a weight cut this week. I'm gonna just probably stay around, maybe get down to 210 or so. So I've talked to Ali about that. We've kind of agreed that it was all good. He didn't seem worried about it. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Good.
Jeff, where are we going to be able to see these matches?
PAL Facebook page live, 2:00 Sunday, February 21st.
2:00 Alberta time.
That's Mountain
All right.
Standard
So,
Time.
Nice.
You got Joe versus Ali. You got Klaczynski versus Jeff. Maybe.
If Curtis can't make it, I'm gonna reach out to Jimmy Finley.
Ooh, that is interesting because Jimmy's like 230 and thick right now.
Yeah.
He's looking big and strong.
And then we have Vitaly Degarenko versus Sheldon Short.
Okay, that's interesting. All right. I'm going to say, I don't know. I don't know who's going to win that one. I know that Sheldon's been around a whole lot longer than Vitaly has, but Vitaly might be the stronger of the two guys. I don't know.
Big Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else? What else we got?
We got Marin Bagarich.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to take on a new guy, Caleb Freeborn.
Okay, I know the last name Freeborn for sure.
That'll be a fucking hell of a match, trust me. What do you think,
That
Joe?
will be close, yeah. I think that's going to be a close match. I can't go against Marin. I think his experience will take over, but Caleb is up and coming, and he looks very strong, so I think it's going to be interesting. I didn't know that match was going on. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, we just confirmed a couple more this morning, so.
And who else we got?
So just some other ones in the works. I really want to get Matt a match, but he hasn't been training. I'd like to get you a match. I tried to get Curtis Cameron maybe down from Ontario, and maybe Mike Gould. I tried to throw some last minute things. It's just kind of falling apart. Being the last week, flights are like at $1,000 right now, so it's just not even practical, really.
Yeah. So all those guys said no to me.
Well, I think Matt would go right-handed.
Scared.
I think Matt would go right-handed with you right now, but we'd have to really do that one underground and save the footage and release
We
it.
would. We might get in trouble. We'd get in trouble if we did that match because the powers that be in the World Arm Wrestling League, I think they have their heart set on that match. Could be 5 years from now, but they have their heart set on it a little bit.
Well, I think you need to phone Jamie and say, can you release me for a one-time match with Matt Mask? I want to get this done out of my hair and release me of my contract. We don't know what's going on in the WL, and I can't wait another year for this match. This match has to happen.
Well, a couple of things. What you guys could do is just have the match, but no cameras allowed,
100%,
no phones
Jody.
allowed, because like you said, Jeff, how long are you going to wait for WL to say, okay, you can or cannot? And if you guys are on a year-based, I don't know, what everyone's contract's a little bit different in the WAL, and everybody's talking about Levon and Michael Todd and this, that, and the other. And from what I hear, it's going to happen actually in May, from what I hear. But why not? I mean, this is the one thing about signing a contract. When you do that as a puller, it makes you feel special. Like, wow, they really want me in their league. And yet, I don't know if a lot of people will read the small print, but once you make that, once you sign the dotted line, the ink dries, you're exclusively with them. However, some guys like a Devin, Michael, whatever, have a loophole where they can pull other leagues or whatnot. With you guys, I mean, it's sad because, like you said, Jeff, you wanted to get Matt and Ryan together, and yeah, let's do that. But then it's like, oh, I don't want to break down the fourth wall. So maybe you do that, have that match, but then it's like, okay, guys, no phones. When people start filing in, there's a big old basket. Put your phone in here during the match. That way you can't have footage. And there we go. That way you guys can talk about it, but there's no footage. Therefore, you can't get in trouble.
There's another idea too. You guys remember back? Anyone here a wrestling fan?
Oh yeah, right here.
Back when Hulk Hogan got fired from the WWE, and then he came back as Mr. America, and he was wearing the luchador mask.
Yeah,
and everyone knew it was him, but he called himself Mr. America. So we could just show up in luchador masks under other names.
Let's do it.
I'm down.
That's happened before. I know a wrestler from Red Deer that did that a couple of years ago.
Here, right? Yep.
He didn't want anyone to know he was there, so he didn't want to be seen on the internet or anywhere, and he wore a mask.
I remember the footage. So,
Joe, have you been getting facials or what, buddy? You're glowing like a fucking peach over there.
Me?
Yeah, man. Look at those cheeks.
Fucking sweat. My truck roasting.
You're throwing some cucumbers over the eyes and doing a little spa treatment or what?
Joe's been laying on a beach somewhere warm and hasn't been telling anyone.
Anything I can prep for Allie, man. I'm sure it needs to happen soon. That's for sure.
Yeah, when we told Joe to come on the show, he had to quickly put a shirt on and get off the beach.
He's secretly in Mexico right now. Not supposed to be, but is.
So
you see it snowing behind me in the window there?
yeah. That's a backdrop. We know it's fake. John Crowler is talking in there. Another one of our YouTube members. Is Joe or Ali, you left or right? It's right. And he's always said, never mind. So yeah, okay. Matt versus Ryan right hand, and Matt can wear a horse mask.
Ah, there you go.
Put on one like Juji had on when he arm wrestled Beaver Pumper, and then make it very hard to breathe out of. So I can get a bit of an advantage there.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, what do you think the score would be with you and Matt left and right?
Is it best? What's it best out of?
5.
Best of 5.
3-0 for me.
Oh. Both arms?
Yes. What do you honestly expect me to say? That he's going to win a match? Because we all know that's not true.
Well, that's the hard part. Because
that match has got to happen.
Yeah.
I want to ask Jody Williams his prediction on that match.
Between Ryan and Matt?
Right-handed.
Oh, right-handed? Oh, I was about to say, if it's left-handed, I say Ryan 3-0. But I say right-handed, I'm going to say, and this will probably make sense when I explain it why.
I'm going to get the mute button ready.
What's that?
Nothing, go ahead.
I'm going to say Ryan 3-1 because the fact that I know it's hard when there's no tournaments to train for, so you just kind of go through the motions in training. But when you have an actual match, your training picks up. Well, with Ryan doing this, podcast and training segments, he's still training. I'm not sure what Matt does because he doesn't post that kind of stuff, but I'm going to guess that he's not training like he would if he was getting ready for a match, where Ryan has to okay, just let me know and I'm ready to roll because I do train to be ready. And I think every arm wrestler is kind of put in that position where, you know what, I'm just going to train my ass off because I'm just sitting by the phone, I'm waiting to get the call. Okay, tell me when and where, and I'll be there. I think Ryan's at that point where he's doing that. I don't think Matt is. That's just my honest opinion.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Matt's a good friend of mine. I mean, we spend a lot of time together, go over there quite a bit. So I know exactly where he's at, but I'm not going to disclose that information.
You already did.
No, I didn't.
You said he wasn't training.
Hard. Maybe that's. Did I fucking give it up already?
You don't even remember. It's too early to be drinking, Jeff.
I know. I'm not drinking, buddy.
Hey?
I'm not drinking.
Mudslides are a good breakfast drink.
Oh, man. Yeah, last Thursday was painful. That was bad news.
Well, it would be fun. I mean.
Yeah, it'd be great. That match has to happen sooner than later.
Yeah.
What I want to see is a rematch of Ryan and Jerry Cataract.
I would love that, and I do want that rematch. I really do. Because I really overthought that match. And even though it doesn't look like much in the match the process of the match, I just tried too hard to do something different than I did the first time when I pulled them at the regionals.
Man, that's such a good point, Ryan. And I don't, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but you tend to go into those bigger matches and really overthink things, right? Correct?
Yeah.
And I think Matt made the same mistake with Jerry, but sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I know how to beat Jerry Caderet. And I did the opposite of what I should have done in that match. It was a complete directional change. And Jerry is super strong. And I'm not saying that I'm going after that match right now, because I honestly think that I need to, take my medicine a little bit and pull somebody that maybe is lesser, because right now, unless people's memory is very short, Jerry should be talked about in the top tier of the World Arm Wrestling League.
Yeah.
He should be in that top 3 conversations.
Isn't that true, man? Like, you hear Michael and Levon, and nothing to Jerry Caderet. It blows my mind.
2 things, guys. Number one, yes, Ryan, you're exactly right. Jerry should be mentioned, because if we're talking WL records, the WL that we all know, Jerry's the only person to hang a loss on Michael Todd, first and foremost. Second of all, yeah, I understand the Michael and Levon talk, but if everyone understands and remembers, it was supposed to be Levon and Dave Chafee, because Dave won his transitional match to get in the top 8. And when they drew numbers, Dave drew Levon. All of a sudden now, with this Michael going to Dubai, now Dave got kind of pushed to the side. And it's like, what the fuck? But like you said, I'm going to use a pro wrestling theory. You got Levon, the guy, in PAL, and you got Michael, the guy, in WAL. So it's almost like, WWE and WCW with Flair and Hogan joining forces, because it's a match that needs to happen, because we don't know. It's almost, I think I had it on my show. I was talking with Dave Morocco last week, and I said, I think the reason why they were kind of gun shy is because you got Kaplan and his guy, you got Igor and his guy. And I think from a marketing standpoint, somebody has to win, but somebody has to lose. And I think with the guys being in charge, that if my guy loses, does that mean I lose credibility with my league? That's just my opinion, why that match hasn't happened and why they're kind of gun shy. But rumor has it that they're going to do it in May. So who knows?
I hope it happens, man, but it's
Yeah, I think there's a lot more logistics. I'd be surprised if it happened in May. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but I just think there's a lot more to it that needs to happen, that I just can't see how they get everything accomplished in that short of time. It's possible.
Right.
Let's not forget, Joe Fox was 1 win away from being in the top 8, if anybody doesn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was that a year ago. I just wasn't quite ready. I mean, I needed a little more experience to be going to a guy like Raymond's, that's for sure. And I just wasn't in top form. Like right now, I feel if I could do that match over again, it would be close. I wouldn't necessarily win, but I think I would be right there. It'd be a very, very interesting match right now. I'm a way different puller than I was 1 year ago. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to this weekend just because I got something to prove. And I've been through this whole COVID. I've been training hard. I've been lifting heavy. I've been training smart. So yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to get on that table and just show what
I really like that. Jody, Ryan, Joe, all you guys that are, man, do you not agree that everybody should, if you really love the sport, you should be ready to go at any given time? Like, why is there an off season? Like, Ryan, you're constantly training. Jody, you're saying, Joe, like, you guys are all ready to go. You get a phone call and he's, I haven't been training. Well, why haven't you been training? Why, like, just because there's nothing going on. I mean, things can change in a blink of an eye.
Well, there's the not training, and then there's like completely not training. So there's many reasons. Remember when Marcio was on Total Arm Wrestling show a couple weeks ago? He said he wasn't training.
Yeah. But
then you look at the guy, and it looks like he hasn't missed a beat. Like he's a specimen. Like he's putting out his training videos down, and he's killing everybody.
Are you saying not training and training? Are you talking about cycling?
No. I'm not talking about people.
Okay, I just want to.
No. I mean, that definitely would play into it with some guys.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of guys that make no mistake about it. They'll say, if you give me 6 months to get ready for a guy, I'll beat him.
Mm-hmm.
And
so why do you need 6 months though?
Well, I mean, it depends on, some guys say 6 weeks, right? But I mean, gains over time if you're going to invest in and do the whole PED cycle thing. But I'm saying that maybe Marcio has dialed it back, and maybe that's the best thing that he could have done. And he doesn't realize how strong he is right now when he's actually training a little bit lighter and with less intensity. So he's a guy that has told us at that time that he was not training. And then the next thing you know, he's putting out these training videos doing the PR thing, and he's killing everybody. Like he is still stronger than almost everybody.
Yeah, I'll put it to you this way, Jeff. Let's just say you got a hold of me and says, hey, I pulled some strings. I'm able to get this thing going. How about you and Uncle John in 3 weeks? I would say, yes, let me go ahead and get a passport and all that kind of stuff. Let's roll. Now, will my training change? I say from a standpoint of conditioning. Because, yeah, I'm training. Don't get me wrong. I'm training ready to roll. But now if I have an actual match against somebody rather than a tournament, now I got to focus on my conditioning. That's the only thing different, you know?
Yeah.
Here's what I like about an athlete. It has nothing to do with arm wrestling, but look at a guy like George St. Pierre, who's going on 40 years old. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that hasn't competed in 2 years, and then prior to that, I think it was like 4 years in between his welterweight and his middleweight debut. He's a guy that is constantly keeping himself in top physical. There's so many benefits to it outside of even being athletic or being in a competition, just staying healthy and staying conditioned. And I mean, right now at 40 years old, he's in the gymnastics. His cardio is up. He's shredded. I love that mentality as a professional athlete.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's the whole thing with training there's being ready and there's getting ready. You know, if you called me and said you want to pull Jerry Cataret in a week, I'd probably say yes. But it would be much better if it was in a month because I could train specific things for him. You know?
Yeah, and that makes sense.
And if the match is close, that makes it even harder to say yes.
Okay, Ryan, so let me ask you a question. You said you know how to beat Jerry, but when you went going into that match, you decided to do something different. Did you know that you were going to like do something different? Because you said now, like, I probably should have done that. You tried something different, which is probably the wrong time.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a whole game plan that didn't work out. And in the first match, I kind of blew up my shoulder. And when I blew it, I mean, I fully injured something in there that then prevented me from switching the style back to what I should have done. But, you know, I relied on trying to top roll and separate him from his arm. And that isn't generally the path for him.
Right.
I overestimated how good I got at that particular thing.
Fair enough.
That's interesting. You know, the thing about Jerry Cataret. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just going to ask how long Jody and Ryan, Jeff, all of you, how long do you give yourself before a match? Like not training at all, like off the table. Well, I guess two different things, like not getting on the table, pulling hard, and not actually weight training.
I'll go first. We'll just start from my side. And for me personally, I found like not doing anything heavy, no table time about 10 days before. But I love, me personally, just keeping the bands going, just that light pump each day. Doing something small like that, even if it's riding a stationary bike or just doing some light bands. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just to keep blood flowing. But for 10 days, you know, no table time and no heavy pulling. I made that mistake when I went down to Kansas City and pulled that super match there. I pulled like 2 days before. I'm not making any excuses, but I won't do that again. Let's just say that. Go ahead, Ryan.
Go ahead, Jody.
Well, for me, I mean, you know, usually as far as the table goes, I take 7 days off, no table time. It's light stuff. So for me, it's like hand grippers. And I know for some pullers out there, it can be counterproductive. But for me, it just keeps like you said, Jeff, it keeps the blood going and stuff. And it gives me something to do. Because if I do nothing, then by tournament day or the day of the match, I feel like I'm strong, but I'm really not because I haven't done anything. It's just, you know, your body is different than everybody else's. So for me, it's muscle memory. So if I don't do anything for 7 days or more, it's going to take me a few matches to kind of go, oh, okay, we're actually doing this. Well, by that time, I'm already 3-0 in the hole. So I know for me, and this is just my experience when I pulled Sean Hancock in that Vendetta match and lost 6-0. I was so ready and so primed. I took 7 days off. I didn't do nothing, no bands, no grippers, no nothing. Went in there, was ready to go, but your body didn't react. My body didn't react to it. So to answer your question, Joe, I take 7 days off of the table, but I just do light stuff up until 1 day before.
1 day before.
Well, it's just like I said, it's light gripper work. That's all I do.
My last workout is generally a practice, and it will happen 10 to 14 days away from, if it's a hard practice, full 14 days, 2 weeks, completely off, zero contact. If in a week I feel like I haven't fully recovered, I will do like a light workout just for blood flow. And we're talking like 10-pound dumbbells, just lots of full range light, get things moving, maybe a massage, but I would rather be completely recovered, because you're not going to get weaker in 2 weeks. I would rather be completely recovered, feeling good, feeling injury free, than go in there with any doubt. So it's going to be a full on 2 week rest period for a big match.
I got a question for all three of you guys.
Yeah.
Tournament format or super match? Which do you like and why? Go ahead, Joe.
Uh-oh,
Joe might be frozen. Go ahead, Jeff.
Man, I'm a super match guy. I think everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Here's what I love. I like both. I like both.
That's right.
But, we lost Joe Fox completely. That's okay. He'll be back if he wants to be back. I really love tournament arm wrestling. I love it. It's, to me, it's the purest form of arm wrestling, because, and maybe it's just me, because I like to prepare for many scenarios. Right. So you can go far in a tournament if you're diverse in your skill set and your training style. I do really like super match arm wrestling. I need to focus more when it comes to a super match on a particular person, instead of trying to train in general like I have in the past. But I love a good tournament. But I know that what's going to push our sport forward is the one-on-one competition of the super match.
Right. So, Joe, the question was, I asked these guys, what do you prefer and why? Super match pulling or tournament style pulling?
What style of pulling do I like?
Yeah, super match or tournament?
Oh, man. I feel like I haven't pulled a tournament in forever. Like this last year,
March was
have I even pulled a tournament?
March was your last tournament, last March.
March, holy man. Yeah, because I've been all super matches since then, Alex and now Ali, and haven't pulled much. Like, I really like the super match format better. I like preparing for one guy and going against a top guy, or someone that I can just prepare for. I have 5 matches to do my thing, take a win, take a loss, whatever I got to do. I can come back, try something different with that guy. I find it easier to prepare that way. Like, I know when I talk to Jeff, I say, I'd like to go this guy. Like when I wanted to go Alex, I wanted Alex because I knew it was a challenge. I know he's strong. He was the double Canadian champ from last year, and that was my goal. I wanted to go Alex and show that I could beat him, right? So I trained my ass off, come in strong, and I just like being in front of the crowd too. Like it really pumps me up to get in front of a crowd like that. But tournament pulling is great too, because you go to a tournament and that's where you're getting your practice in. You're trying different things. You're going some really good guys, some guys that are pretty good that you should be able to take. So you're going up and you're trying something different, right? Instead of the same old stuff where you're strong, you can try different stuff, right? So work on your hit, and so there's different aspects from both of them that I like, but I really do prefer the super match style for sure.
My absolute favorite was when they the World Arm Wrestling League years ago blended them. So they had these massive tournaments, and it was double elimination down to the top 4. And then 2 guys had a super match on one side, 2 guys had a super match on the other side. Then the 2 winners got together, the 2 losers got together to determine who the top 4 was.
I think they need to bring that back.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
100%.
Wall was at its peak when they had the regionals and all that kind of stuff, and then when they went to the format of just super match only, which was fine, but they kind of eliminated the tournament standpoint. So they kind of had their select few pullers. We're gonna go with these guys, and even the guys who were the select few maybe only got on the card one time, and that was it. And it was like, it's kind of not fair, like Ryan. I'll use you as an example if you don't mind. I think Ryan has one match the entire time. That was it. And it was like, okay, when am I gonna get the call again? And it's like I said, it's not fair. If they went back to the old style where, hey, you got a northern region, a southern region, or a west, a south, or wherever, you break them up into regions and stuff, and then it makes it good, because now it was like our version of the over the top, where you got all these superstars and all these different weight classes coming together to compete, and now you get to sit there and go, oh, okay, let me see where I stand with amongst of the best. You don't get that anymore.
Yeah, the issue, I think, is that when you're building a TV show, you're kind of gambling a little bit, where you send your TV crews to do the spots on these guys ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
You almost need to do it after the fact.
Yeah.
So when I was getting ready for the World Arm Wrestling League finals, the crew from ESPN came up here and followed me around my hometown for a couple of days. But that was before they knew I was going to be in the final. So they kind of gambled on who they picked and went to their towns ahead of time. What they could have done is waited until they knew who won and who didn't, and then try to shoot it retroactively a little bit like they do on reality TV. But I guess that's the only solution. But that was a problem for them, I think, too.
Right.
But those TV shows, they just constantly run here in Canada. Like, they're on the Fight Network, and they're happening every week. I'm getting a notification that World Arm Wrestling League is recording on my PVR. And I've seen them all 25 times, but they live on. They live on.
I think now we're at a point where leagues are taking over. And that's not a bad thing, but when you have these different leagues now, it gives every puller something to shoot for, because who knows, you may not be WAL material, or you may not be PAL material, but damn it, I might be TAL, material. So I do like that all these organizations are coming out, so we can kind of get this thing going. I'm glad for that, because it gives everybody, like, hey, I want to be a part of something, and maybe you're not like the best of the best. Well, let me try my talents in this league and see what happens, because now you got a different, flavor, a different set of pullers with different hands, different, styles that you can go against, and it keeps everything fresh, in my opinion.
Yeah. Nathorn is in the chat. Greetings. Here's a like, he says. And he gives me a hard time when I ignore him, so I got to give him a shout out.
So there's some interesting matches coming up down in the U.S., Jody. I want to get your guys' predictions on a couple. There's 3 matches that I find really interesting. And let's start with the Greg Gray against Matt Craig match at down in Texas, March 31st.
These guys don't like each other.
No, they hate each other, man. Hate each other.
It's probably something that should be on pay-per-view, just
100%.
They don't like each other. And I guess not too long ago, Matt Craig put up there, he said, well, guess who canceled again, blah, 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 blah. And I think it kind of, struck a nerve with Greg. And, I follow Greg on Instagram. I'm friends with him, and he's putting in the work. And the last thing you want to do is kind of piss him off. And I think, Greg wants to go in there and shut him up. So I think Greg is really like on the cusp of joining WAL, aside from the COVID thing. So he's a former Arnold Classic champion. So, and actually when he won in 2019, he was my roommate. So I know, just by sitting up there shooting the shit with him and stuff, and watching him put it into work, I think Greg has this.
Yeah. And I really don't like the way Matt is going about it. Every time there's a problem, that he's got to fucking go all over Facebook and make these big drama posts about the match. I don't like that.
Like it.
I don't know if I do. I mean, I think it's a little. I mean, whatever, you want to say something about the match being canceled, but it doesn't have to be every single day. Maybe you're right, Ryan. Maybe that does add to some hype to the match, and the end of the day, I really want to see this match, and I'm gonna give it 3-1 to Great Gray myself.
Tell you what, it has made me interested. So had it just been a super match that was on a poster,
Good point.
I probably wouldn't have watched. But now I'm interested because I want to see what happens with these two guys. They seem to genuinely hate each other.
Yeah, like, and you're right. That there's some fabricated hatred. This one's real. This is
which makes it even more, exciting because it's not like you said, it's not fabricated. It's not, for show. These guys really don't like each other, and they're from the same state. So you can only imagine, the hate, the buildup when it happens. I wish I was there actually.
This finish needs to be decisive. It can't be one of these controversial things that happens that it could have went this way, could have went that way. There was a bad call here. I think this one needs to finish in a very definitive way so that this can be put to bed. And
easy answer. If you're a puller and you got this kind of match with that kind of magnitude, as a puller, you got to go, you know what? Leave no doubt. Don't let the ref decide it. You decide it. End of.
Yeah. They can't each win a match to get in a fist fight and have to do it again later.
Right.
Yeah, I can't give much of an opinion on this one. I don't know much about Matt at all. Greg, I know he's a pretty fierce competitor, so I'll go with Greg, but I really don't know. I'm going to have to look into this match a bit.
There must be 20 pounds weight difference, Jody, isn't there?
Probably. I think so.
Yeah. Craig being the heavier guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I talked about this when I first started the show and it was just me in here, but I want to ask you guys the question. What do you think of the Ryan Bowen back and forth with RVJ?
Here it is. This is as easy as this. Give it up to Ryan Bowen because this is nothing more than a publicity stunt for him to get more subscription and get financially rewarded for it. He is very, very, very intelligent when he comes to building his brand, and he's doing it for no other reason. Is he gonna beat RVJ? No. And I like his approach. I like what he's doing just because he's just building this brand, and everybody is just fucking buying into it like hook, line, and sinker.
He's a good promoter. He should be in the WWE.
Totally agree.
And that's not taking anything away from Ryan.
No, nothing at all.
But it's easy to sit there and say, I can beat this person when you can't fucking leave the country of Australia, right? Anybody can say that,
I'll kick Levon's ass right now.
Yeah. See, exactly.
When you stir up people that are constantly, saying you're a fool, he's doing what he wants to do. He knows he's going to get the backlash. He knows he's going to get negative criticism, but that's what he wants. Because everybody's is tuning in, everybody's listening to it, everybody's going on is subscribing to his channel. He's getting exactly what he wants to it, and that's subscriptions to Pound to Pound, or whatever his channel's called, and he's achieving exactly what he's trying to do.
I like the Kilo for Kilo brand.
I totally agree with that, Jeff. He's doing the back and forth with RVJ. I've been enjoying every minute of it, especially when RVJ comes back at him and getting so pissed off. And he says it how it is, RVJ, and I just love it. And I think Ryan knows he doesn't have much of a chance right now, but I do think he does think that in the future, in a couple of years, he will be beating RVJ or close to, but I just can't see it happening.
That's the thing. We won't know until they actually meet, till they open the borders. When this COVID thing's all said and done, then I think it's going to be put up or shut up time, because, again, it's no different than when the Lachlan Adele or Todd Hutchins thing was going back and forth. It's like, okay, well, is Todd going to take him seriously? Like, dude, I'm on a different wire than you right now. No disrespect, but I'm here. You're like over there. Again, no disrespect, but it's the same thing, like, come on, man. You guys are in Australia talking all this noise, and and I know you guys can't leave the country.
Yeah, this is nothing more to build.
Listen, both those situations got everyone's attention.
And this match is. I would be surprised if this match even happens. The reason I'm saying this is because, one, where are they doing it? And if it's COVID restricting any travel, that's fine because that's exactly what's going on. The minute that these COVID restrictions go away, WL is going to lock up RBJ back to the WL.
Yep.
And that's where it's going to be. This match, I do not see this match happening for a very long time. Ryan's doing this for, I believe he believes in himself, but what he's doing is creating, he's promoting his brand. He's getting the likes. He's getting the subscriptions. That's what he wants out of it. That's his ultimate goal.
But I will say this, because last year RVJ pulled a super match with Chuck Bartle for $1,000 right-handed. And I didn't know if that was going to happen because it was right before Wall started, or Wall said, hey, we're not doing it. But that was right-handed. We all know wall pullers are right-handed if you're contracted. And that was for $1,000. And Chuck Bartle, no disrespect to him, but he's not a wall competitor. So that match did happen. Now with Ryan, because Ryan also pulled with Wall one time, and RVJ is the guy in his weight class at Wall, that might be a little different. Maybe that might just say, hey, we'll save that for our Wall 6-0 whatever, or now it might be 700 or whatever the case may be. So,
well, generally the restriction is you can pull outside of the season, but they don't want you having a right-handed match with someone else that's also Wall contracted.
Yeah.
So they don't want you to take away a match that should be in under their banner.
Guys, I just got a message from Greg Gray. He wants to be on the show. I'm gonna try to have him on my show so we can talk more about this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be tuning into that. Great. Yeah. So anyways, the second match I wanted to get your guys' predictions on is that one coming up. And this one is I'm really excited to see this match, and that's Josh Bishop and Rampage Ryder.
Never heard of them.
Bam!
So it's Chuck Ryder.
Chuck Ryder, yeah.
Yeah. So Josh Bishop is the brother of Justin Bishop. Yep. And there's some matches that need to happen because all the shit talking. Let's just go ahead and put it on the table, Don't underestimate Bishop, because that whole family knows how to pull. Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. His dad, Tony Bishop, he knows how to pull. Sometimes Chuck Ryder can get himself in situations or his mouth can get him in situations he can't get out of, so this will be an interesting match. But Chuck Ryder outweighs him by maybe 30 pounds.
Oh yeah, Chuck's a big boy.
So
yeah.
I'll go with Bishop just because I don't like Chuck Ryder.
I'm going to go with Chuck Ryder because he is a little bit bigger guy. I like his talk online there. He's a pretty funny guy. So I think it'll be close. I'm giving Chuck the win. Yeah, 3-1.
I'm going to have to go with Josh Bishop. It's hard to bet against anybody with the last name Bishop.
Yeah.
Third match that I'm really excited to see is Dalton Duncan and Hunter Knopf. I'm
not too familiar with those two, so you got me. Are they pulling at the Net Fit?
No, no, they're pulling at an event by Anthony Letterio.
Oh, Letterio. Oh, okay.
Letterio, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so
that's a badass
PAF event because Anthony Letterio is based out of the southeastern area, so out of Florida. So his league is the PAF. So I'm not too familiar with those two, unfortunately. So
I think this is going to be an absolute blockbuster of a match. As maybe, like you say, Jody, maybe people don't know of these guys as much as the other names, but Dalton Duncan's a bad dude. I think he's won Alabama state championships multiple times. I think he's one of the higher ranked guys in North America at 154.
Yeah,
and I think Hunter is too. And from what I've been watching of him, he looks. He's a real deal. He's beat some really big names. I'd have to go back and see who they all were, but I know he's been doing a lot and getting some pretty big wins under his belt.
It should be good. It should be good.
Joe
Fox, I got a question.
I'll go with Dalton on this one. Yes, sir.
So, what guys do you want to pull in the United States that you would really like to have a match with? I'm curious.
I know the answer to this.
Okay, Jeff, go ahead. Who do you think?
Well, I know because you've told me. So I think some of your top guys that you want to pull in the U.S., Dan Mosier, Craig Tullier, Justin Bishop.
There you go.
And those are tough guys to pull, but I would like to go Justin Bishop. I think I would love to bring that belt back to Canada, and I think I got the stuff to do it on the right. So I'd love to go him. Mosier, I mean, he's on fire right now. I think I've got a bit to learn yet. Got to get my speed up a bit, but he's a guy eventually I want to pull. And same with Tullier. I love Craig Tullier. I think he's a legend. He's one of my favorite guys when I got into the sport. He's one of the guys I was big in the WAL at the time, and I just loved watching his matches, his intensity, and I have a lot of respect for that guy, and I'd love to pull him one day. It'd be a dream match for me for sure.
Those are good guys. And Daniel Mosier and Tullier used to be training partners, and now Tullier is up in Utah right now for work, so he's kind of residing there. But it's funny because all three of those guys are all different style pullers. So, you're not going to see Justin go into an inside hook, as much as you might see a Tullier or Daniel Mosier. So those guys like opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to style pulling. But I tell you what, it would be interesting to see you guys go at it on the table.
For sure. I think if I could stop Mosier's hit, I think I'm definitely in the match, but that's the problem is, can I stop his hit? Same with Tullier. He's pretty quick as well. But it's funny that you asked that question, because I was actually wanting to ask you if you know many guys from Canada and there's anybody up here you'd like to pull.
Well, that's funny, Joe. I was scrolling through the messages, and Mr. Jody Williams, what are you calling me up, brother?
Here I am. So
he said that to you?
Yeah. So here's the deal. So where I'm at now, I just turned 45 this past Saturday. So I'm not, one of these guys that's like, oh, I'm the top tier guy. I would love just three guys out, Uncle John, right? Jeff Frank, because I think it'd be an interesting match. And then Mr. Kane, what's his last name? Hensing? Yeah, I would love a match with him. I pulled him 9 years ago at the U.S. Open, and we were both at the 198-pound weight class, and we were in the finals, the top four or whatever, and I didn't do too well. I pulled like this, and he ended up climbing on my fingers and actually smashed me down, and never got a chance to pull him since, but I would love to pull him again one of these days.
Kane is a very talented arm wrestler.
Yes.
Especially his left hand.
Because that year he came down with the Vancouver, BC team.
Yeah.
So, Jody, I'm going to be 6 hours in the summertime. I'm going to be 6 hours from you. I'm moving to Vancouver here.
Oh, okay.
Chilliwack. So there's some big changes coming in my life personally, and so I'll come to you. I'd love to do that, man. I just think it'd be an honor just to come down there and pull you. So you let me know when and where, and I'll jump the border and I'll come to you, and we'll have a little fun.
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
Yeah,
Those
and
are
if
my
it's
three
easier
guys.
to travel, I'll jump in with you, Jeff.
Sounds good.
We've been needing to get down to the States again for a tournament, so I'm ready to get there for sure.
Okay, you two on the left. That'd be you, Jeff and Ryan, the three guys you want to pull in the States.
Well, Jeff, you go ahead.
Well, now I got to go Jody Williams. Oh man, I just like getting out there and competing, to be honest. I learn so much as I go on, and one of the matches that I'd like to do over again, left-handed, not right-handed, would be Chuck Young. I'd love to try that match again. I think every year I'm evolving, and I think it would be a lot more interesting this time, just as you learn. For a third guy, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I just kind of go with the flow, and if something presents itself, I just take whatever. So I don't know. I'd have to think about a third guy, but those would be the top two guys that I mean, Jody, I think highly of you. You're a great dude. I think that'd be a complete honor to grip up with you in a super match, and I'd love to do the Chuck Young one left-handed over again for sure.
Oh yeah, Chuck. He's a former rival of mine. Before he moved to Montana, he was living in Washington, just one state up north, and we battled it out a lot over the years. And like I said, once he moved to Montana, he kind of got away, and he got remarried, so he focused on his family, and then he resurfaced in Idaho. And it was funny because that tournament that day, TAL2, he took first place left hand Masters, and I took third, but I never got the opportunity to pull Chuck. And it just so happened. Exactly. So there's Ben, right? So now all of a sudden, here comes the open class. And me and Chuck matched up. And he hit. I caught his hit, brought him back over. And it's one of those deals where it's like, well, damn, I could have won that match, actually. I could have beat Chuck in the Masters. But, you know, it is what it is. That's what happens sometimes with the brackets, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I thought, you know, look, I thought you did beat Chuck, to be honest, Jody.
No, in the open class, I did.
Oh, you pulled opens too?
Yeah, I never got a chance to meet him in the Masters. So, you know, on paper, Chuck won. Hey, you deserved it. You won. Masters left. But in the open class, I beat him. So you sit back and go, huh, if we would have, you do the math, if I would have pulled you in the, you know, Masters class, I would have got you too. That first place would have been mine. But like I said, we've all done that before where the first place guy, you know, you can beat, but because you never got a chance to pull him, you got to take third.
Wasn't that class just absolutely stacked too?
Yeah, it was. All because I didn't lose 4 pounds. So I had to pull people like Robbie Topi.
Oh God.
I'll give you guys. I'll give you guys 3 names that aren't in the World Arm Wrestling League, so it could happen. They're either left arm or they're not in the World Arm Wrestling League. So let's say left arm. I won't call guys out that are injured. Let's say Topi and Marcio.
Mm-hmm.
And then right arm, Tim Bresnan.
Ooh, yes.
And then, of course, you could always throw Travis Bagent in there, either arm.
Now, didn't you and Bresnan pull like years back?
Years and years ago. So the story is I beat him at the World Championship in 2005. And then he beat me in a super match in Nova Scotia some years later, pretty convincingly. And I'd like to have another shot at him. And he's not tied up with the contract, so maybe that match can happen at some point.
Because wasn't there like a league in Canada, like the UAC or something like that?
Yeah,
and
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
Whatever happened to that league?
Just kind of stopped. So it was in conjunction with Arm Sport Videos.
Right.
So Arm Sport Videos kind of slowed down a little bit. It was, it kind of just went to the wayside.
Cause I see videos they post, you know, from time and time again. I'm looking, oh, there's like Earl Wilson and, you know, Rick Hayden. What's his name?
Rick Heidebrick.
Yeah, I'm like going, whatever happened to those guys?
Still around, but hasn't been doing a lot. So, but neither have any of us.
Right.
Hey, listen, you guys, this was lots of fun, but I got to go. So I appreciate you guys jumping
Can
on.
we stay on and keep doing the show without you?
You could. Maybe Jeff can figure out his channel and fire up the show.
I got to get going here too, guys.
Yeah, me too. I got to get to work.
Yeah.
In closing, I just want to say I'm looking forward to seeing you this weekend, buddy. And I'm ready to pull. And Ali's a good friend of mine. I love Ali. I think he's great. But me and him both know when we get on the table, it's friends off, and we're coming at each other hard. So it's going to be fun.
That's this Sunday, February 21st, 2 o'clock, MST, TAL event, Super Match Sunday. Hopefully get some other things in work. Two guys I really want to get in matches are the Leach brothers, man. I got so much respect for Kelly and Dustin Leach. They are the badasses of Canada, and they're just, they're just hard to get on the table, but let's see what we can do for next weekend.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for having us
Jody,
on.
All right.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
See you guys on Thursday night.
Peace out, guys.
Take care.